Good morning, friends, and welcome to Trans India Real People, Real Emotions. Since the last few years, India has been focusing strongly on the use of alternate fuels. While manufacturers have invested heavily in vehicles driven by alternate fuels, eventually it is the customers who have to shift from the traditional diesel powered trucks. Thankfully, many companies are now open to experimenting with alternate fuels, and they are just not looking at the initial acquisition cost of the truck, which is obviously higher, but they are looking at the total cost of operation spread over 5 to 7 years. One such logistics company that has been experimenting or trying out a lot of alternatives is Delhivery. Earlier this month, Delhivery took delivery of 20 Volvo LNG powered trucks. The FM 420 Volvo trucks are imported and will be used alongside Delhivery's extensive fleet of Volvo diesel powered trucks operating in express cargo and B2B logistics sectors with route lengths of 1,000 kilometers. Equipped with Volvo Group's unique high pressure direct injection diesel cycle based technology, the Volvo FM 420 4x2 LNG truck offers the same reliable performance that customers have come to expect from Volvo trucks over the years. HPDI, which is high pressure diesel injection, assures 15 to 20% better fuel economy than any other LNG truck that runs on spark ignited engine, thereby reducing CO2 emissions by up to 20%. We were invited by Volvo at their Hoskote plant in Bangalore to take a look at these trucks and even test drive them. But before we got onto the test track for an extensive drive, the leading officials at Volvo told us more about the trucks and the technology. The Volvo team comprised of Mr. B. Dinakar, Executive Vice President, Volvo Trucks India, Mr. Sharath US, Head Marketing, Volvo Trucks India, and Mr. Bhagwan Bindiganavil, Executive Vice President, Strategic Planning, Brand and Communications, VECV. And this is what they had to say on the Volvo LNG trucks and the plans of Volvo.
You all know Volvo very well. It's something that we are very proud of, our heritage, our desire to drive change, progress, all these things that we talk about. And what you will experience today is yet another logical step in that journey. We've spoken about the fact that as India grows in its Amrit Kal, and as India will grow into a large economy, a very large economy, logistics, both the movement of people and goods grow, right? And has to become better, has to become more sophisticated, sustainable. All of the words that we kind of want to use will come into play here. So I think all of these things will come to play, and I think that as Volvo Trucks, we will play our part in it, right? So that's something that we want to kind of really bring you in on today. We have an exciting day lined up for you. We will other than one-on-one casual interactions here initially, also then have a formal discussion with some colleagues from Sweden and a customer, right? Because ultimately, it's about all of us coming together, right? It's not just about us talking about what we do, but it's also about customers talking about how they find value in what we do, right? So all these things will come together, and ultimately that's what we want to talk to you about. And after that, they say that the proof of the pudding is in the eating, right? And we would like for you all to kind of experience the truck, what it does, what it can do, and how it can actually change perspectives for users, whether they be drivers or operators, right? Give you a sense for it. So hopefully you can experience that and take that back with you.
It's about Volvo getting into a different alternative fuels in India. Volvo has been working, and Volvo Trucks have been quite successful in EV business and other alternative fuel business. As you all know, we are working on various alternative fuel requirements across globe. So we started this quite 1 year back. Some of you would have already come and then taken some some idea about our gas-powered LNG truck. Okay, so we launched the commercial trials last year. It's been working for the last 1 year. So we'll give introduction and more data about this particular transport solution going forward. But one thing I would like to tell you is it's pretty exciting for me on this. So why? You can ask me, why am I so excited about LNG power other than any other thing? So that will unfold while what we going to discuss further. The truck which you're seeing now comes with all safety features which we are giving in the truck worldwide. And the truck which you see outside is completely built unit which we have imported. Okay, so do that. And the customer is the customer whom you already interviewed earlier, and you have seen that customer, that is Delhivery, is already going to be with you in the discussion. So me and Bhagwan, we had one discussion about how do we make this, actually show you or showcase you how this business is going to be developed in India, is because one, as a OEM or as a supplier or giving the transport solution, I will be very much excited. But the same excitement should also be there, should be based on certain facts and some kind of an understanding from our side. So that's the reason to understand how this business is developed worldwide, particularly in Sweden and Nordic countries. Okay, so how this is developed.
How much time does it take for a fill?
Practically, it should not take more than what it takes a diesel truck. Okay, but it depends on the experience which you have. In Europe, I was there when it was getting filled. I hardly see about 2-3 minutes. Just come fill it up and then.
As fast as that?
As fast as that, actually. Sometimes it may take about half an hour. That's a different thing.
Okay.
Why now? This launch or flag off of LNG happened back in September 2022. I'll show some slides on that. And we are calling the media right now. Back then it was a simple press release. We are broadly under 4 verticals globally: construction equipment, trucks, buses, as well as industrial engines under the brand name Penta. And trucks happen to be almost 2/3 of Volvo's business. Almost 67% last year came from trucks business. We are 97-year-old almost now, operating 190 countries, production in 18 countries, over 1 lakh employees globally. We started with the 7-liter 270 horsepower engine. As we speak today, we are giving 13 liters 500 horsepower engines. And we are already in discussion to bring in maybe 17-liter 750 horsepower engines into India. Let's hope that happens within the next year or so. Lot of benchmarks, milestones which we have achieved. Service provided at the site. We built container workshops. We constantly increased our horsepowers. We started bringing in new technologies. iShift came in beginning of last decade. Volvo dynamic steering is another important feature of Volvo which we introduced in 2019 in India. Somewhere in between 2018 we diversified from mining into construction segments, irrigation, road construction, and 2019 I went back into on-road logistics because we felt, okay, with the introduction of GST, highways becoming good, this was the time for us to re-enter. And 4 years, just over 4 years now, we have 550 plus trucks running on Indian roads on logistics. We had a new platform launch in 2021, which went viral on the media. 2022, 2023, a lot of things happening. 2022, we started the trials with the LNG in India. 23, we brought in even electric into India. End of 23, we decided to showcase an entire gamut of new transport solutions. Whatever Volvo is doing globally, we thought this is the time we bring it into India. Which is where we talk about higher capacity mining trucks, say route trains, so all of these alternate fuel technologies. So that is happening right now. This is the factory where we are sitting, which has a test track. We assemble trucks, buses, also Volvo cars here. We have a regional workshop. We have a central parts depot. Everything is within this premises. Our focus segments, mining, which also includes mineral transport, which can be say iron ore, steel transport or coal transport, institutional sales, all of this comes under one vertical. Construction and infra, which includes irrigation, road construction. We also cater to the granite and marble quarries, tunneling, be it railway, road tunnels, hydel power projects. Then on road, we are into express cargo big time. We also want to go into POL, container movements, B2B, over-dimensional cargoes. We are by far the market leaders. This is our current portfolio in India. 6-7 different configuration of trucks coming out of this factory under mining, construction and on-road. Beyond this, any other special inquiries come say from defense or fire tenders or something like that. One, either we can assemble here, or if it is too tailor-made a spec, we import it as CBU from Sweden. On the right hand side, you see all the global solutions which we have either introduced in India or in the process of introducing. We have protos ready which are under testing in India. Okay, now we come to the discussion where why we have assembled here. Many of you have already seen this particular slide, Volvo wanting to be net zero by 2040. As we stand now, 2024, we already have diesel solutions which are capable of running on biodiesel too. We already have LNG solutions right from 2017 with the new technology, which I'll talk about in the next slide onwards. And our trucks are already capable of running on bio LNG also. Electric, we started in 2019, heavy duty electric from 2022. So that is also a full-fledged solution from us globally as well as in India. We have already developed protos of fuel cell electric, which have been under testing for the past couple of years in Sweden. Maybe next year end is when that would be introduced globally. So we are investing in all kinds of technologies. We have to wait and watch what takes up the major pie. As we look at it now, by 2040, we will have nothing to do with fossil fuels. Even if we have ICE engines, it will be on bio LNG or biodiesel, which is a small portion. Largely, we will be with battery electric or fuel cell electric. This is how we see going ahead. If anything changes, we are ready for those changes. LNG is nothing but methane purified, taken out of oil wells as a gas, methane, and then purified, taking out propane, CO2 and all. So this pure methane is actually liquefied, say in Qatar or say Russia, put into a LNG tanker, and then it is shifted around the world. Say it comes to the Dahej terminal in India, where it is offloaded into a terminal. We have some 7 terminals operational on the coast, west and east coast of India. So from the terminal, it is loaded onto 2 ways. One, it can be gasified and pumped into the pipeline, gas pipeline, which can go into CGD or any other applications. 2, if it has to be used as LNG, as a transport fuel, it has to be offloaded into a truck with the LNG tanker. And then it has to go on the truck to anywhere in India where the LNG stations are. So that question which came, as of today, we have 12 operational LNG stations across India. So from the truck, it is offloaded into the tank available at any LNG station, where it is stored at say -130, -140 degrees, and then offloaded into a LNG truck tank. So this is the value chain. Now, why LNG? Initially, we talk about environmental benefits, and then we come into the economics. So if we take the fossil LNG, CO2 emissions is straight away 20% lesser. And if we use bio LNG, it can be 100% lesser. And also there are other benefits on particulate matter, absolutely no. SOx, NOx levels are much. SOx is almost 90% low, NOx is also almost that low. So this is the environmental benefit. Now coming to the economics, why LNG is better? One difference here in comparison with diesel, diesel is measured in liter, LNG generally in kgs. So a kg of LNG has the same energy of almost 1.4 liter of diesel. So this equation is what brings out this economics on LNG compared to the diesel. Added to that, the price of LNG versus diesel also helps, because as we speak today, LNG per kg is about approximately 8 to 10% lesser than diesel. This can sometimes go haywire if at all there are some global crises, Russia-Ukraine war. It went at least 20-30% higher than diesel in those crisis years. But right now it is approximately 10% lower than diesel. 10%? So lower than diesel on LNG on a per kg basis. So one lesser cost fuel plus higher energy content, both put together amounts to a savings on your transport cost. Now I'll come to a very interesting slide. Many of you, if you have heard about the LNG truck technology, you feel that, oh, it is nothing but a CNG engine with spark plug, gas goes in, you spark it, burn it, it acts as a petrol engine. We use very different technology. We use something called HPDI, high pressure direct injection technology. So the basic difference is between a diesel and auto cycle, or a petrol cycle. So we all know from the cars which we have driven, between a petrol and diesel car, there is at least 15, 20, 25% difference in fuel economy per liter. The same thing applies here too. Since we are using a compression ignition or a diesel cycle, we can very confidently claim that we would be at least 20-25% better fuel efficient on a LNG truck compared to any other truck in the world, LNG truck in the world, because we are the only ones who is using this particular technology.
We will continue our coverage from Volvo's Horscote facility after this very short break. You are watching Trans India, real people, real emotions.
क्या आप जानते हैं एक ट्रक ओनर के लिए सबसे मुश्किल काम क्या होता है? अपने ट्रक के लिए रिटर्न लोड खोजना।
पर अब ट्रैकिट ट्रांसपोर्ट मार्केट ने इसे आसान कर दिया है।
वो कैसे?
ट्रांसपोर्ट मार्केट टाइम पर ट्रैकिट ऐप में आए हुए लोड पर अपना बेस्ट रेट भेजें, माल की डिलीवरी की डेट और टाइम सिलेक्ट करें और सबमिट कर दें, और ऑर्डर कंफर्म होने पर व्हीकल असाइन करें। है ना आसान? तो देर किस बात की? प्ले स्टोर ऐप पर टाइप करें TRAKET ट्रैकिट और डाउनलोड करें ट्रैकिट ऐप।
स्कूल बच्चों का दूसरा घर होता है, और इस घर का ख्याल रखना एक प्रिंसिपल के लिए आसान नहीं। पढ़ाई के साथ बच्चों का आराम, उनकी सेफ्टी, छोटी से छोटी चीज़ मेरी प्रायोरिटी है। वैसे ही स्कूल बस चुनना भी एक बहुत बड़ा डिसीजन था। पेरेंट्स का पीस ऑफ माइंड, मैनेजमेंट का भरोसा और बजट साथ लिए चलना पड़ता है। इसीलिए कभी कभी फर्म भी बनना पड़ता है। आखिर कोई अपने बच्चों की जिम्मेदारी मुझे दे रहा है, तो कोई बजट की। लेकिन इतने सालों में एक चीज समझ आई है, अगर सही डिसीजन लें तो सबसे ज्यादा प्यार भी प्रिंसिपल को ही मिलता है।
चुनिए महिंद्रा क्रूजियर स्कूल बसेस। यह है मजबूत ट्यूबुलर स्ट्रक्चर, एंटी लॉक ब्रेकिंग, एंटी रोल बार, पैराबोलिक सस्पेंशन, IMAX, वाइडर सीट्स और बेस्ट इन क्लास माइलेज के साथ बच्चों के लिए सेफ और बाकी सब के लिए सबसे स्मार्ट चॉइस, महिंद्रा क्रूजियर स्कूल बस।
Welcome back to Trans India, real people, real emotions. We are at the facility of Volvo at Horscote in Bangalore.
So what is new? I'll show an animation which will tell you how LNG goes through our engine and how the technology works. But to put it very simply, one, we use diesel cycle, we don't use spark plug, which gives us an additional advantage. We can go into all these hazardous areas where spark ignited vehicles are not allowed. We can go there very safely. We have better fuel efficiency. HPDI is actually lower emissions compared to a spark ignited LNG truck. What you see there is the LNG powered engine, and the next is a cut section of the LNG tank. We'll show you the tank outside, but what is inside? LNG tank is like a thermos flask, two layer of steel, very thick steel compared to diesel, and then there is vacuum in between. So because LNG is stored at minus 135, minus 140 degrees in the tank, so it should not be at any point of time in contact with the ambient air. Reason, it evaporates, and if it evaporates, the pressure in the tank increases and it starts venting out. So one difference again with regard to other technologies, we have a pump inside the tank which nobody else has. I'll tell you the significance. So this is how the circuit is in our truck. What you see on the left hand side is the gas circuit. What you see on the right hand side is a diesel circuit. Now, why do we need diesel? Gas doesn't auto-ignite. We are using a compression ignition. If it's a simply send gas there and we compress it, it cannot ignite like diesel. So we are sending very small amount of diesel into the combustion chamber. It is never mixed with the gas. It's only in the combustion chamber that initially gas is pumped in, which auto-ignites like any other diesel engine. It's just 5% gas as against 95% LNG. So once the diesel auto-ignites in the combustion chamber, we pump in the LNG, which is 95%. Because there is already a flame inside the combustion chamber, the gas catches fire and power is actually given by the gas, not by the diesel. Although we have a diesel tank, we have a EAT system, gas is actually running the truck. So this will explain the technology better.
Range is possible. The tank is filled with liquefied gas. The gas is stored in a cryogenic vacuum isolated tank at minus 130 to 140 degrees Celsius. Inside the tank is a hydraulically driven pump that raises the LNG to system pressure, and a vaporizer at the end of the pump converts the LNG back to the form of gas, high pressure CNG, around 300 bars. The CNG gas is delivered to the engine via IGM, Integrated Gas Module. Here the pressure and temperature is controlled. If needed, the gas is kept in the module until the right pressure has been worked up. When ready, it's released and continues its way to the GCM, the gas conditioning module inside the engine. The GCM regulates the pressure delivered to the gas rails and injectors according to the engine operating point. In order to ignite the gas, a very small amount of diesel is needed. The smart fuel injector uses concentric needles to enable diesel and gas in the same injector. The pressure ignites the mixture and the engine starts running. When the engine is switched off, the gas shutoff valve on the engine is closed, and any gas remaining in the engine injectors and gas rails is vented out. The engine needs to be vented down because diesel rail pressure controls the injector gas needles. The venting prevents the injectors to open when they shouldn't. A smart module called RTT, return to tank, directs the vented gas back to the tank so that it can be reused. This also ensures that as little gas as possible is vented out in the atmosphere.
So this is something you will see only on a Volvo truck, not in any other truck globally, HPDI technology. Okay, now advantages of HPDI technology, we don't have any loss of power or torque compared to our diesel counterpart. The power and torque curves given here is in comparison with our existing diesel engine, 13 liter 420 horsepower. The gas engine exactly gives the same power and torque. So coming to the range and tank capacity, somebody was asking earlier. So we have decided to bring in the highest capacity tank available in our portfolio right now, 225 kgs. With the trials that we have run in India, approximately 1100 kilometers is possible with this particular tank. Of course, this value may change depending on the kind of road, load, the temperature of LNG at which you are filling. So that can happen, but roughly we can take this value. Coming to safety aspects, some of you who may think LNG, whether it is safe or not, we have conducted all kinds of tests. So the tank, which is actually the most delicate part of the truck, has been dropped from a 9-meter height and it is safe. It has been shaken for a long period of time, put on a fire, frontal collision, sideways collision, rollover tests, everything has been done. It has survived the grind. So as a tank, it is very safe. As a fuel, it is very safe. The only problem is that it is very, very cold. So as long as you have your PPEs intact, nothing is going to happen. Because if at all the gas comes out of the tank, it just immediately evaporates. Methane being lighter than air, it just dissipates in the air. No explosion possibility. So coming to safety aspects of our truck. On this LNG truck, what we have decided, we will give the topmost safety features. That is the truck. This is the cockpit of the truck. This is the dashboard where you'll see on the left hand side LNG levels, on the right hand side diesel as well as AdBlue levels shown. So there are few buttons on or switches in the truck which you'll not see in any other trucks, even in our diesel trucks. So those are the ADAS features. One, we have the driver alert system. If he is drowsy, the AI software detects it and gives a warning. We have lane departure warning, lane keeping support. We have a camera facing the road. We have a sensor as well as we have a radar, all three facing the front. So using those, we can have this lane departure as well as lane keeping support. And then we have the most important forward collision warning with emergency braking. So if at all driver is drowsy, usually in the night, as he goes closer to the truck in the front, there is a heads-up display, red lights popping up on the windshield. He doesn't do anything, there is an audio alarm. In spite of that, if the driver doesn't do anything, the truck takes over, it will brake on its own. And our brakes are really powerful. We use electronic braking system. So these are the safety features which will be standard on our LNG trucks. Little bit on our 1.5 years journey. So this is where we flagged off in Nagpur in the presence of GAIL and Baidyanath LNG. So after that, we have been running around Nagpur, around Chennai, West Coast, Bhiwandi, Jaipur, filling at Ahmedabad. So wherever there is fuel available, we have been running. In applications like express cargo, in coal transport around western coal fields, we have transported aggregate on the Samruddhi Mahamarg. We have also tested against our diesel to understand how better is it compared to our diesel. So all of these tests we have done. The proto truck has run over 1 lakh kilometers and now our 20 odd trucks are already on the road.
Is there any life cycle for the tanks that they need to be changed after a certain amount of years or something?
No, tanks will be available lifetime. The pump inside the tank, that needs to be serviced. Otherwise, pump is lifetime. The tank is lifetime.
So we use the LNG, then though the CO2 reduction is about 20%, fuel efficiency is another 25% or 30%. So all that reduces the emissions as a whole. But if you take from well to tank, that is from bio-LNG, it's 100%. So we want to call this as a gas powered rather than calling it as a LNG powered.
What's the weight of the truck minus the goods? I mean, full LNG and diesel to full capacity, what is the weight of the...
We want to say curb weight, with including this 225. That's around...
Tractor alone is 7.5 tons.
7.5 tons.
So from the front fascia, I'll just highlight few things. One, LED headlamps are standard now, no halogen lamps. Much necessary for night driving, especially on long haul. Other important thing we see is a camera facing the front. There are sensors to see the distance from the car in front, and behind this is the radar. So all these three put together gives the signal to the driver, one on being alert depending on his driving situations, two, how close is he to the truck or car in front, and then the truck takes over. So here we have given a passenger corner camera, so which gets automatically on when you turn the left indicator. So driver sees exactly, it's almost covering 180 degrees towards this side.
So a lot of work's been done to address vulnerable road users, and the mirror there, the side angles and all that are meant to essentially make sure that anybody close to the vehicle. So if somebody is loading in a loading dock and somebody is walking here, you can see them. That's the whole point of what we do. We'll also talk later. I mean, there are a lot of questions about drivers, etc.
Okay.
And also how we train mechanics. On the way back, sometime we'll talk about the competency studio and our digital first approach.
Moving back, yeah, this is the most important part, the LNG tank, 225 kgs. It is dual layered with vacuum in between. So even if you have 42 degrees temperature outside, it will not let it go inside. So simple, you are touching it, inside you have LNG at minus 140. So if it was any leakage, your hand would get stuck to the... In India, we have seen it varies from minus 105 going all the way to minus 135. Ideally, it should be minus 135, minus 140. The colder, the better for our truck. Because the warmer it gets vaporized. Looks very simple. Inside this, you will see lot of pipes, cryogenic pipes coming out. One, this is the receptacle. So our filling as well as venting happens from this single receptacle, and next to it you see the tank pressure. Somebody was asking at what pressure are you filling in. So the dispenser pressure has to be higher than the tank pressure. Simple logic. So right now it is 9 and 8 bar or so. So generally dispenser in India are pumping in at 10 bar pressure. So if this is higher than that, we vent the gas out to the tank, bring it down to say 8-9 bar and then start filling in. So you already saw the animation from the tank. We have a reciprocating pump inside, hydraulically run, so that's why we have that hydraulic tank and a hydraulic motor just to run this particular pump inside. So this is where we have a diesel tank, 170 liters. The logic,
Spark, right,
just for the spark. Not just that, I will come to that. Simple logic being 10 times we fill LNG once we have to fill up the diesel.
So that's proportional, right? This is
roughly. So I told you 5%, the diesel can go as high as 8-9% depending on the duty cycle. So because we are using diesel, we don't want any of this exhaust to come out, so we have the full-fledged exhaust after treatment system like our diesel truck.
That's
and
the mix of what? SCR, DPF?
SCR, DPF, AdBlue, everything is part of this, which is why we have AdBlue tank also, 64 liter capacity. So diesel from here goes to the injector, not mixed with LNG anywhere. LNG from there goes to the injector, combustion happens, exhaust goes through the eats and then out. Diesel is used as a spark plug in our case. Now one more advantage, none of the other trucks which are not having diesel, so there is always this range anxiety as long as your infrastructure is new. So what happens, suppose we run out of LNG. So in our case, we can still run on diesel, but the truck will automatically go into limp mode. It will not generate as high power as with LNG, but you can unhook the trailer, go to a filling station, fill up, come back and take your load. Other trucks, it will just be stranded, you will have to tow it. Since it is not powering the truck, we don't want to call it hybrid, nor do we want to call it dual fuel. Exhaust is really clean, and even if you put a white handkerchief there, so you wouldn't find any soot or...
What is that tank for?
That's the air tank for braking. So, as well as the air bellows. You see, these are air suspended. You have air bellows here, air suspended, pneumatic suspension. So, as well as for braking. So wherever our diesel truck can run, our LNG truck can run, as long as there is fuel. There is no
limitation.
Only limitation is we are not using it for off-road applications as of now. When I say off-road, mining, we are not yet allowing.
During the media interaction, we were joined online by the top management of Volvo from Sweden and also officials from Delhivery who joined from Singapore. Later, we were at the test ride driving the Volvo LNG powered trucks. And these are my first observations of the test drive. There is no doubt that these cabins are super luxurious and comfortable for the drivers, not to mention air conditioned and with automatic transmission. In terms of performance, the LNG trucks were at par with diesel powered trucks. And we say this because we drove both the trucks and there was absolutely no difference. In fact, we found the LNG powered trucks to be a little more refined. The future in terms of alternate fuels is going to be very exciting. A lot of options are being tried out by manufacturers, and eventually we will be settling down to a couple of options which would be not alternates but which would go alongside diesel powered trucks. While manufacturers are investing heavily in alternate fuel technology, customers too are now open to trying out new technology based on their applications and routes. We can truly say that the future is going to be very exciting but challenging. We will be back again next week with yet another interaction and interesting story. You have been watching Trans India, Real People, Real Emotions. Until next week, stay safe and drive safe. Jai Hind.